Greetings, fellow mortals. Just a reminder, saying it's just my opinion is for cowards. That disclaimer does nothing but state the obvious, so people can act like they're hurt by meanies on the internet. In a recent video I did about Cyberpunk 2077, I said that I don't know if I particularly believe that redemption truly exists in real life. People do not forget Jack Diddley squat. It was true in the past, and it's especially true in the era where everything is documented on the internet. But that's real life. That's messy and personal. Fictional worlds are very much different. Characters who used to be evil or do terrible things can in fact find redemption. They can make new lives for themselves. The other characters can forgive them. The audience can forgive them to a reasonable extent. Now, this sounds like a lie, and storytelling is about trying to find a fundamental truth. But here's the thing, sometimes a tale wants to comment on how things should be instead of how they are. Do I wish redemption was real? Yes, I do, even for the people I personally dislike. If they ever apologize to me, I would try my best to forgive them. So this type of story is not only okay, it can, in fact, be great. It can be the best part of the book, show, movie, or game, but only if it's done right, and only if the characters involved haven't gone too far.
Hello, Zuko here.
Oh hey, look, it's the one character who broke fiction by being too well written, because everyone is now trying to copy him without having the nuance or understanding of psychology to pull it off. Does Zuko have the best redemption arc in television? Most definitely. But here's the thing, Avatar: The Last Airbender was very careful in how they portrayed Zuko. Even from the start, he was never shown to treat civilians maliciously unless they got between him and Aang. In fact, if the Avatar wasn't involved, he usually showed basic courtesy to the average citizen. He's a lot nastier to his own crew and his uncle. And when he does attack town, Zuko's goal really isn't to maim or kill anyone. He doesn't have a taste for that. His goal is to capture the Avatar. If random people run away or hide, he doesn't particularly care. In fact, his tendency to set things on fire actually comes from his lack of bending control over anything else. Has he done objectively terrible things? Yes, but he's not evil. He is a hurt person making the wrong decisions. The second season and his time with his uncle demonstrates this more than anything else. Zuko was never shown or even hinted at doing something truly disgusting or unforgivable. Now let's compare this to the tamest subject of this video, Princess Bubblegum from Adventure Time. My god. Talk about a character whose only redeeming aspect ended up being the person that they're shipped to. Yes, she and Marceline are a cute couple. I thought the writing in the build up to the relationship could have been a bit better, but whatever. But why do I consider her past redemption? Well, it's because the writing of Adventure Time doesn't address her core issues. She's a manipulative monster who creates things just to suffer for her amusement. Don't believe me? Consider this. She constructed every single person in the Candy Kingdom. She designed all of their personalities, flaws, and intelligences in a way that they have to depend on her forever. Just look at Cinnamon Bun. When did he actually start to develop intelligence and a personality? When he got the hell away from Princess Bubblegum. Even then, he was always being watched by her. For hundreds of years, Bubblegum watched everyone in the land of Ooo. She manipulated them and controlled everything to some extent. In a lot of ways, the other kingdoms only exist because she allows it. Just look at Lemongrab. She could have fixed that entire situation in an instant if she wanted to. She can make an unstoppable army if she wanted to, but she just let him be and placed the burden on others, or even something like her brother. Did she ever try to get him emotional help in the hundreds of years that he existed? The show actively demonstrates that she keeps people emotionally weak, dumb, and dependent on her, all for her seeming amusement. Of course, all that shown is seemingly forgotten at the drop of the hat when the plot needs it to.
Of course!
But even then, at least most of that was simply implied. You could argue that I'm reading too much into the series that is literally begging you to pay attention to every small detail of its lore. So what about the opposite? A series that desperately wants you to forget its past most of the time. Star Wars. The most overrated thing ever. Never been a fan. I did a video on it a while ago. I don't hate it, but I don't see what the big deal is, except with Darth Vader. That's a villain that's actually pretty cool. If he is left as the big bad unstoppable force of an antagonist, that is. When I first watched Return of the Jedi, I questioned why Luke even cared about redeeming his father. Now, I watched everything out of order. I watched the prequels first when I was a kid, so I knew Vader was an annoying brat turned arrogant teenager turned evil psychopath who slaughtered children. And then he followed Palpatine's orders without question. He used the Death Star to blow up an entire planet, killing countless lives. Now, we didn't see those people, but we saw the rebels his men killed. We saw how he hurt the protagonist. He was always a badass villain to watch and to see people fight against. I'm still bitter that Kingdom Hearts 3 didn't have a secret Darth Vader boss fight, but just because I like him as a villain and someone to fight against doesn't mean that I think that he should ever be considered a good guy ever again. He literally sucks epic donkey balls as a person, as a student, as a friend, as a husband, and as a father. If this guy was real, I would literally want him dead, because he's a monster. He does not deserve to be a happy Force ghost. He should literally be burning in Force hell. Now that is a plot that would get me into a Star Wars movie. Let's go to Force Hell and see all of the evil people fight in a battle royale for reincarnation. That would be fun. But even then, this is not the worst case that I can think of, because at least Princess Bubblegum is cute and funny, because at least Darth Vader is cool and badass. The same cannot be said for the worst example of this irredeemable trope. I'm talking about the worst character from Naruto. Truly hateable. No redeeming qualities whatsoever. The person who has hurt the protagonist the most. The person who makes me groan every single time I see their face. The character who deserves no fans, and if you are one, I sneer at you in disgust. I'm talking, of course, about Sakura. God, I hate that woman.
What the hell are you talking about?
No, I'm just kidding. It's a joke. I don't hate Sakura. I don't really have any strong feelings about her except disappointment, because she didn't have the character development and plot importance that I thought that she would get in Shippuden when she fought Sasori. I was so pumped. Finally, she was actually doing things, real things, but then that immediately went away until the war, and then she had a massive power-up with no training shown whatsoever, and then she married her abuser, and that is just disappointing. Just perfect female character writing there. Great job, Kishimoto. Way to suck at writing women. But Sakura is not Kishimoto's most egregious act. That would be Orochimaru, the evil snake guy, the man who slaughtered countless people, the man who tortured and conducted unethical human experiments, the brainwashing guy, the person who stole bodies, the guy who probably SA'd a lot of different people, someone so sick that it puts all of the real life evil people to shame to some extent. Yet somehow everyone in the series just forgave this guy. In fact, he was involved with Naruto's wedding. His wedding. I can assure you, my wife would have killed me if I invited anyone 1/100th as evil as Orochimaru to our wedding.
What the hell is this?
Despite everything that he's done, he's just kind of there at the end. I refuse to watch or read Boruto, but he seems to be just going along. Can we all come together and agree that this guy should have stayed dead? God, how many times did he even die? He is just so terrible, and this is coming from a guy whose favorite character in that series is Gaara. You know, the guy who used to kill people for fun, but at least he was only shown killing enemy soldiers, and he did it quickly and painlessly. Instantaneous deaths. I mean, he could have killed civilians, but at least that wasn't shown, and he did try to kill Lee, but let's just forget about that. So, you know what, maybe Kishimoto is just a little messed up in the head morally, because there is such thing as too much redemption. Even characters like Vegeta and Gaara are pushing it, and at least we saw them grow and evolve into better people. Or maybe I'm just too picky on who can and cannot be redeemed. Perhaps my brain is too focused on the punishment side of justice instead of just limiting more suffering in the world. It's an interesting concept with a lot of potential for discussions. All I'm saying is that I find it very hard to forgive evil dictators who bring countless suffering to their worlds. But hey, that's just me. Maybe you like those characters. You're welcome to disagree. That's fine. After all, everyone is entitled to their objectively wrong opinion.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Hey, do you like stories about an interconnected world? Then consider giving my LPCO books a try. They are all connected in some way, but you can jump in at any point, unless it's a series. Then you have to start at the beginning. But I got 3 books out right now and 3 coming next year. You will not have to wait long for content. Either way, thank you. I appreciate you. Do not despair.